people like to tap out really
Mm-hmm.
quick. Things aren't going their way, or if the relationship's not benefiting them in any way. Marriage, relationships, work, life, anything.
It does. Like,
It's
it needs
crazy.
to be right. It does not, none of the success, anything in life happens as fast as you think it's going to happen or as easy as you think it's going to happen.
Welcome, everybody, to the Not For Nothing podcast, hosted by the dynamic duo Christopher Michael and Ashley Mayland, where they delve into life, love, relationships, and personal growth. Be sure to tune in every week for a refreshing take on life's most important lessons.
Hey, everybody, we're back with Ashley Travers. What's up?
Hi, guys.
Welcome back.
How you been?
Good.
Good.
I'm in my new place now that you helped me find.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I love it.
Did you get to go see it?
I did. It's so nice.
Isn't it cute?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You came with Jacob.
He
I
hates
did.
when
Yeah.
I call it cute.
Yeah, it's
I want
very
manly.
modern and manly. That's what I got the second I walked in there.
Handsome.
I want the man cave.
Yeah, it
No,
was the man cave, totally.
definitely not. It's all my furniture from like me and my ex. So it's like girly fucking. I don't even sleep in my bedroom.
You don't?
No, I sleep on my couch.
Is it because of the view?
The view, yeah, I have the view from both rooms though,
Yeah, you
but
do.
the view in the
Yeah.
living room is awesome too.
Yeah. It's a good
I love
little
it.
spot.
I sent you a picture of it.
Thank
right?
you for letting me help you, by the way.
Yeah, no, thank you for helping
We
me.
had fun that day.
Top
We did.
notch.
Yeah.
I think that was the first. We looked at the two, but that was the first
That
spot I
was the
took.
first spot. That was a
Wow.
great find.
So if you're in South Florida, this is your girl.
Yeah. Thanks for the
So-
plug.
yeah.
Seriously.
So it took me to two spots. I took the second one I saw on the
That's right.
spot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the real estate in South Florida is a whole nother beast. And most people are part-time because they have
Right.
to work a couple jobs to make it work. I don't. So it works out good for me.
Look
Yeah.
at you.
I know.
She's a balla.
been
ladies
doing it
and
a
gents.
long time, long time. And the systems and processes are where it's at.
Mhm.
That's what happens when you have a lot of drive and ambition, though.
It does.
You know?
It changes the game. Goals and very clear goals. Very
Yeah.
Yeah.
thought out goals. You
Yeah.
know, what do I want to do? Where do I want to end? Turning 40 next month. I'm on my way out.
On your way out.
On
You
my
look
way
so
out.
good.
You're sweet. I don't.
Oh,
You're
you do.
Oh, stop.
Yes, you do.
You look so good.
Oh, well, thank you. Wait, I'm almost 42. I'm turning 38 in a couple months.
What are you in a rush? You get 2 more years.
No, I know. I'm just saying. It's just like wild to me how quickly life passes us by.
It goes so quick.
does. It
It
creeps.
goes so fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm planning the retirement part of my
Yeah.
life.
You gonna do a happy 40th birthday?
I am going to do a happy 40. I'm doing
be
a
here.
palooza.
Where's
An
that?
Ashley Travers palooza.
Oh, very
You know,
cool.
we're working on it. We need to talk about that later.
We do.
We got some people coming in, and I think it'll be really fun. I'm not sure yet. We talked about doing something on a boat. We
That'd be
talked
cool.
about doing something, down in Miami, or not doing that because I'm telling you, the older that I'm getting, the recovery,
I know. It takes forever now.
it's just not fun anymore.
No.
Stop.
You borrow from fun from the next day
Yeah.
Yeah.
is what you're doing. Essentially, when you turn, 39?
I started feeling it like 36, 37.
Yeah.
I feel like
Started to
38,
get
39, I
worse.
started to feel it getting worse. And when I started feeling that way, it became like not just 24 hours, but it was like 48 hours,
Mhm.
72 hours
Wow.
later. I'm still lagging,
Yeah.
And with work getting so busy,
It's not worth
I
it.
just can't.
Well,
So,
You
I
learn
agree.
quickly to stop.
yes, you do.
You really do.
Yes,
it
you
only
do. Yeah.
takes like one real shitty day at work,
It does.
and then you're like, this is not happening again.
It
Right.
cannot go.
Yeah.
I actually quit drinking years ago. Like if I'm in a social setting and everyone's drinking, I'll have a drink, and that's pretty much the only thing I sip on all night. And I'm good with that. Like I'm
Yeah.
happy with that. I don't care to have it. I don't even like the flavor of alcohol anymore. Like I lived it up so well in my 20s, being that I was in a rock band, that I just was like, there came a day at like 26 where I was like, I could never drink again and be fine.
And be happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's
But
good.
so I literally just maybe a glass of wine.
is that
but-
hard to be out while other people are drinking and
No.
driving you insane?
No, because you learn to have a good time without it. You learn to have a good time without having to be drunk, or you just learn to like sit in the role of, you know what, I'm going to let everyone else have fun and socialize, and I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
good.
good.
I'm sane. So if anything comes up, I'm good. If anything goes wrong, I'm good. Like you kind
Yeah.
of have a sense of like peace, and that you're going to be cool and you can handle whatever situation happens, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Makes sense.
It does.
So-
Yeah.
And drunk people drive me absolutely insane. So I couldn't do it.
Me too.
When you're
I-
sober and there's drunk people around you,
Yeah.
I'm like, and then you go home and you're analyzing it. Do I act like that
I
when I drink? So yeah, it'll be
Uh,
a palooza, but I might keep it really kind of calm.
That's okay
I'm
too.
going to say that now, and it's on camera. I'm going to bet that's not going to happen, but we're going to try our best.
I think we should palooza into a spa day.
I would palooza
Maybe
into a, spa day
palooza
all
into
day
a
long with you.
pool and just casually sip on margaritas and get a pool boy and
Go to bed when we're palooza'd out.
yes,
at 8
exactly.
This
Have
sounds
a
like a
palooza night
stellar
of sleep.
40th.
Yeah, right.
Chris is falling
Gonna be
asleep
one
like
of-
just thinking about it.
What you need to do is have a really good night and then just set up an IV hydration the next day.
Absolutely.
That's the way to go.
That's the way. Do they work? Have you done those?
I haven't, but somebody said it's like instant hangover removal.
Seriously?
that.
Yeah. Because it hydrates you like instantly.
Yeah, they give you the headache meds, the nausea meds,
Yeah.
and the hydration all at once. That's
Mhm.
pretty much usually, and then like the anxiety meds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like once
Well-
you get that cocktail going,
You should be good.
Should be
I mean,
good.
think about it. If you drink, like if I drink a lot of water before I go to sleep, I feel 100 times better when I
For
wake
sure.
up. So I would imagine getting an instant shot of hydration probably gets rid of a lot of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe do one before and after.
Yeah, that's
Early
genius.
hydrated, and yeah, I like that idea. Actually, you know what? That's good.
Just
I like that idea too.
good.
Hire up, someone that commutes to you, so you can wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and just go like this.
We'll get them on the yacht.
That's it.
Go on the yacht for the yacht day, and then just start with mimosas and IVs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Mimosas
Exactly.
and IVs. Oh my
what kind
God.
of problems do you people
You're
have
right.
over?
You could market the hell out of that.
That would be funny.
That could be a whole business
Some
branch.
The
routine.
nurse shows up and is like, "Why am I here?
Why
Why am I here? Already started."
Just put the needle in
Buddy.
and hydrate me.
Yes. Yeah.
Mimosa in this IV and actual hydration in this one.
Right.
Bingo.
We'll get a caffeine one going in
We
there.
should patent this idea before somebody comes and
Seriously.
rips us off. That's so funny.
But so yeah, 40 is a big one though.
Yeah, it
It
is.
really is.
Doesn't feel real. It makes me kind of sad.
Doesn't it? It made me sad.
We don't talk about that enough.
I know.
People like make jokes about it, but
Getting
it
older?
really does make you kind of sad. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn,
It's like half your life.
it really feels like
More
that.
than
It
half.
does.
It
For
does.
some.
It does. And I don't feel my age.
Right.
Mentally, like I get it when people talk about it. And I know there's
Right.
always going to be the older people that watch this or listen to this
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, just wait until you're 70. And I'm like, I know, Joan, I know.
Right.
But
Jerry.
Yeah.
I know.
we know, guys. But the same thing is when I was 30, it was like, am I really going to be 30? Because like when you hit that decade,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
things change. Your body changes and you think in your mind you can
Mhm.
do things that you go to
can't.
do. And then you're like, that hurts.
Like a cartwheel. I tried that a couple years ago and
Absolutely not.
pretty
Would
much
you- why
pulled
would you
every
do
muscle
that?
in both legs.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this shouldn't hurt this bad.
Nope.
And then
Yeah.
I was like, maybe it should hurt this bad.
Yeah.
But can I ask you guys, do you feel like 40 looks and feels completely different than it did when our parents were
100%.
40?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, come on.
We
Absolutely.
look different than our parents did
Right?
at 40 years old.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't look at you and think 40-year-old. I don't look at you and think 40-year-old. Like, when I was 20, 40-year-olds looked 40.
Yeah.
But I think we look 40 to the 20-year-olds.
Right, maybe we do.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you go to the beach on a busy day where FAU is out
Yeah.
and there are the girls there and I'm like, look at that beautiful like 13-year-old. She needs to put a
Right.
swimsuit on. And Brian's like,
Right.
honey, she's not 13.
She's
Right.
22.
Mhm. And then I'm like, oh.
But I still think our parents' generation probably looked older.
I
than
agree.
we do.
I think they
Yeah.
did. I really do.
It was. The haircut's the style.
Yeah.
The haircuts, the
different.
style, but also like they didn't have the cosmetic options that we have now
Right.
either.
Ooh, good point.
Like they weren't hitting
Which
it
I
up with Botox and lip
No.
fillers and stuff like we do now.
I also think I think we're in a much more vain generation than they come from.
Everything's online.
Yeah. Everything's online.
Everybody's
Everybody
True.
keeps up appearances.
You got to keep
more.
up your appearance more.
That's true.
That's going to change things too.
Yeah.
Although I wish that it wouldn't because I'd rather have it the way it used to be.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it was much, a lot less pressure.
The
You
Golden
know.
Girls haircut.
Maybe
You
not
remember
with that.
that?
Like I feel like back in those days we could have still been like the Farrah Fawcett,
Oh,
you know.
true.
But I
Yeah.
look at my kids, they watch Sandlot, my favorite movie,
It's a great
right?
movie.
And I'm like, my children will never experience that.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad.
Yeah.
Because back then when you didn't have the internet and all of this stuff that they're on now, and I wasn't buying V-Bucks every 20
Right.
Roblox.
I'm going broke on V-Bucks. But like people really did more, I think, like differently than us.
Oh my
They're
God. Even,
outside
even we
more,
did, yeah, like
activities.
We're more
Bikes.
active.
Mhm.
always on a bike.
Yeah. Bike.
Mhm.
I used to go cliff
Yeah.
diving on some of the trails.
Well, I'm okay with my
Unattended.
children not doing
Seriously.
that. But really, we did do a lot of really crazy shit.
Oh, yeah.
that if my children did, I would not like.
Oh, I remember swimming in this freaking creek that was like flooded. There was like a flood and it was like December. There was like ice chips on this creek, swimming in it
Why were you doing that?
because it was fun. And we were just like, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
my parents would have died probably. Like, they wouldn't have been like, oh, yeah, go ahead and swim in this frozen over creek that's like
With your
rushing because
hypothermia.
of the flood.
Right.
Like, but we lived like 2
Seriously.
minutes away too. Like, we walked over there. You know,
Yeah.
we were like, oh,
Yeah.
this looks fun.
Yeah.
Let's jump in. You know what I mean? Like, my daughter would never be allowed to do that.
No, well, you can't. And I
You
tell my kids
can't.
all the time, I'm like, I love you and I want you to do dumb shit because you learn from it. But
Right.
also, insurance is not cheap anymore.
it's not.
Like, mommy can't afford the ER bill any longer. They charge you $300 for a tissue.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's not get hurt today. So
Facts.
that change, there's the whole dynamic
Yeah.
change. And so you watch those nostalgia videos on TikTok and stuff like Christmas in the 90s and high
Right.
school in the 2000s. It was a vibe.
Yeah.
Like,
It was.
that's never coming back. And it makes me kind of sad. I mean, I
I
guess you
know.
can work to develop those traditions in your family, but it's not the
It's still
same.
hard.
It's tough because
It's
you're
not the
competing
same.
against the internet, and it's just everything in our society today is designed to make us lazy.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
It really is. Look at fucking DoorDash.
I was going to say it works
Seriously.
because I'm a
Yeah,
big fan of
I know, I
DoorDash.
keeps you at home.
DoorDash. I
It
know,
does.
and it's so great.
Yeah.
It's great and awful at the same time.
It is. I'm not as big of a fan as DoorDash because it makes me lazy and fat for sure. But Instacart, when you have children,
Oh,
Mhm.
shopping.
Or
I
they're
save
sick.
more. I save more money Instacarting and paying the delivery fee and the tip than I do taking my kids to the store.
Oh,
Because
sure.
they're gonna drive me nuts about I want this, I want all of this stuff, and my
Yeah.
cart's gonna be 10 times fuller.
Mhm.
So, and I look at that as like a savings. So that one I'm good with. DoorDash just it really does. I'm
Ah.
like, I was gonna eat healthy, and I have this side chicken, and now I'm gonna have pizza.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
No.
on Instacart, you're getting what you said you were going to get.
Yeah,
And then you get it and you're like, oh, damn, I really would rather be having the pizza.
Right.
But here
There's
we are.
been those nights where I do both.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just we live in a different world.
It
It's unfortunate
We
to a
do.
degree.
Yeah.
It is, but
But
yeah, it's
do you feel more nostalgic? I started feeling more nostalgic in my late 30s, going into 40.
Mm.
definitely.
A lot. I think about
I'm
high school
turning-
more now. and,
Yeah.
like, those days. Yeah.
That's weird that you said that.
Isn't it?
Yeah, because I do feel that way.
You do.
You start to reminisce,
Yeah.
like on your past and just kind of where did the time go?
Yeah.
And then when you do that, you start to really dig deep into memories and oh my gosh, this person's not here anymore. And holy cow, we took that for granted. And then you get sad. Maybe that's why people that turn 40 get sad.
I mean, I think you
That's
do
it.
when you think about it. You know, when you're in your late 20s, like I just graduated high school 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like even though it's far away,
Yeah.
it just doesn't seem that way.
It doesn't.
You know, and then you start getting letters for your 20-year high school reunion. You're like, fuck.
Not going to that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I do, I'm doing it Romy and Michelle style.
We should
you know?
for sure do that one.
Like,
by
that's the
way.
only way.
Either yours or mine. We got to make that happen.
Either
That would be
one.
Dude,
I'll go to
does
yours.
This generation even know what that movie is?
No.
That's what I'm saying. They don't make them like that
No.
anymore.
If you don't, to all the listeners that are under 35, Romy and Michelle's high school reunion is a classic.
You need to
You
watch
got to
it.
see it.
It's so cute.
There's nothing better.
Fast Times at Richmond High.
That's a good one, too.
That's a good one.
Oh, God, I didn't see that
Breakfast Club.
one. Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a
Yeah.
lot of the classics. I never watched Dirty Dancing. And
Really?
I know. I'm
Wow.
going to blow your mind. Are you ready?
I'm shocked.
So, not Dirty Dancing. Footloose. Never saw it.
Titanic.
Yeah, but that's like
It's
not-
different.
No, I know.
That's not. That was like I
Okay.
think I was like old, like 7th grade, 8th grade, maybe.
What about Flashdance?
Nope.
Wow.
I
She
did a
need-
whole photo shoot with a Flash Dance theme, and I didn't know what it was, but we made it.
I'm sure it was hot.
It was hot, but I was 21.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Listen, you got to see Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, I'm shocked you haven't.
Of all of those.
Okay. What about the Goonies?
The
Oh,
Goonies.
great.
You got to see that
You gotta
too. But
see that.
Dirty
Never saw it.
Dancing is every woman needs to see Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, as a woman, I'm shocked you didn't say it.
You have to.
Yeah.
Nobody puts baby in a corner. You know?
All right, let's
Like,
do it.
every
We'll do it.
woman
We'll
needs
do it
to.
tonight. We'll report back.
Okay.
We'll
There you
report
go.
back. Am I going to
Yeah.
hate this movie?
No.
No.
Okay.
You're going to love it.
I'm a guy and I liked it. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a classic Patrick Swayze, nostalgic just moment. You got to see it.
All right, we're going to do it. We'll do it tonight.
You'll probably cry over Patrick Swayze tonight because you'll just be so sad about the fact that he's gone after
was
seeing
I was
this.
just about to ask that, but I felt like maybe it was an inappropriate question.
No,
Did he
it's
pass
one of
away?
those.
He did pass away.
That's sad.
did.
He
He
was
had
he's-
cancer.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sad. I thought I saw that.
Yeah.
But see, I wasn't ever big into like.
It's like 10 years ago, but you know.
I watch
Who's
Ghost.
counting?
Ghost is one of my favorite.
Ghost is so good.
Ghost is a good one. Really messing with my aging here. That was 10 years ago. I thought it was yesterday.
Ghost was a great movie, actually.
Ghost was a phenomenal movie. That's another one you young generations need to to dig into is get yourself in some Demi.
I
What was
just-
her name?
Demi
Demi
Moore.
Moore.
Yeah.
She was a freaking 10.
Oh, she still is.
She
Is
was.
she?
Have you seen her recently? She got
G.I.
some
Jane.
work done,
G.I. Jane just made me want to be a
Oh.
better person.
right?
Like, I
G.I.
wanted to get
Jane.
fit.
She was a beast of that.
Oh,
She was.
She really was.
Like,
So good.
so hot. See, everybody that our generation loved Pamela Anderson. Like, that was
Mhm.
her big time. I always was a Demi Moore girl. Like, I
Mhm.
thought she was
Oh,
stunning.
she was great. But everybody loved Pamela Anderson because of Baywatch.
Yeah.
Baywatch was a great show. I still watch it.
It
My
was.
kids watch Baywatch, and they're like, man, I want
When-
to be a lifeguard.
Yeah, right?
Mom, I'm going to be a lifeguard. And
The
I was
movie.
like, the movie.
The movie was
The Rock?
The
was he in
Rock,
it?
yeah.
I feel like my
Oh.
husband watches that with the boys
Yeah.
all the time. But it's not the same as the like actual Baywatch.
Right.
No, it's not.
What's the guy that ate the cheeseburger in the in Baywatch? Who was you guys know
The main actor?
yeah,
David Hasselhoff.
That's
Oh, yeah,
it.
David. Good old David.
Did you see the David Hasselhoff cheeseburger?
I did not.
You got to do that too.
That sounds
Yeah?
really good right
I
now.
gotta check it out.
Cheeseburger.
It's funny, you go back and you watch those shows, you realize how bad the acting was.
Right.
It's so bad.
I mean, the 80s.
oh, God.
It was
Simpler
just
times again. Back to
horrendous.
simpler times. We didn't need a
Seriously.
lot back then.
But there were also some really good ones. Like some
Oh.
people that were still acting back then that were just phenomenal and always have been. But some of them, I'm just like,
I know.
this isn't even acting. What is
It's
this?
horrible.
I know.
This is hard to watch.
I know.
But we didn't need a lot to entertain us back then because we didn't know any better.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
Like movies were good acting and TV shows back then were, less than standard.
Yeah.
You know?
I was thinking about that yesterday. Family Matters. That was,
Yeah.
that was on. They did Family Matters. Urkel.
Urkel.
Yeah.
Jaleel White.
I feel like half your audience has
Urkel.
already turned this episode off because
Yeah.
they're like, I don't know who any of this is.
Well,
No.
for our generation.
Our generation.
They'll know who this is. My favorite was The Bill Cosby Show. Until everything went down with him, I loved Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
I
Really?
thought he was America's sweetheart. I
Mm.
loved him. I thought he was hilarious. I thought he was such a family man. Bill Cosby is the perfect example of why I would never survive in somewhere like Hollywood. Because I would have trusted him with my life.
This
I
is where
would have
she needs us to
trusted
come in.
him.
Like, here's me walking in the room with
Seriously.
Ashley. Like, no, turn around.
I would have been like, Bill Cosby
Turn
invited me for
around.
dinner. I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Like,
Like,
no, you
just let me
won't.
change.
He was the Jello guy, you remember?
I loved him.
Jello.
Yes.
I loved his stand up. I
Yeah.
loved the show.
Still
and then
so bizarre to me.
No.
it's
that
insane.
all that went down.
It's insane.
Bizarre.
It's
wild.
it just goes to show who they're just not who they are.
No.
Obviously.
Mm-mm.
No,
Clear.
they aren't. So many people, and today
Wow.
online are so opposite of what you expect. Even just doing podcasting,
Yeah.
we've seen this. We've
Yeah.
learned this the hard way multiple times. That you see someone online and they
one.
have this presence, and you think that's them, and it's not.
It's crazy.
It's not them. So when you meet someone that's genuinely like who they portray themselves to be, it's like a shock. You're like,
Yeah.
oh wow, they're actually kind of a cool person.
you almost
this
don't
isn't an
believe
act.
it. And then that's where the whole problem with what's going on today comes in.
Well, it's
because
fake.
people don't trust anybody anymore.
No.
And should you? That's the question.
Mhm.
Well, you
Like,
shouldn't.
what's the fine line?
You can never trust something you see online. You got to meet people in person. Like I'll always say, I won't ever mention him by name because I'm not a douchebag. But we had one guest come in and the guy was just so insanely different than who he portrays himself to be online.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even
Yeah.
stomach it at times. And
Yeah.
then even after I couldn't stomach it. So I was like,
And I was all like,
right.
oh, wow, what a great perspective. And he's all like, nah, cut. And Doug's
Yeah.
over here like,
Dump's
nah,
like gritting his teeth.
nah. And I'm just like, oh, I love this for you. What a good
hilarious.
guess. And they were both like, did you not pick up on that? And I'm like, no, this is why I would have been murdered by Ted Bundy.
Yeah, he was just a very self-serving individual. And he would tell stories you're just like, he's just full of shit.
Yeah.
Like we had to edit certain things out.
Yes.
Because he was saying things where
Yeah.
I'm like, first off, if that is true, why would you ever say it? Like,
Right.
Why are you saying it?
Right.
Like, it's ridiculous to even bring up.
Yes.
You clearly, anybody listening knows who you're talking about. So why are you saying it?
Yep.
Like, just keep your mouth shut. It's not, you don't need a fucking clickbait like
No.
you just
Everything
don't
was
need it.
clickbait.
It was stupid.
And it's just like some people live for the camera and some people are good in the camera, like in front of the camera. Does
Right.
that make sense? Like some people aren't living for the camera, but they're great for it because they're real and authentic and they're honest and you
Yeah.
can relate to them. And then some people just live for the freaking camera. And so everything they say is a show.
Right.
And you're going to get a lot of that, especially with how much money they can make on these platforms now.
Oh, for sure.
But I
Yeah.
think these generations are figuring it out. I think people are starting to figure it out,
Mhm.
which makes me happy. I think people are starting to really sit down and question what are the narratives behind A, B, and C. Let me think a little bit more into this than just what I see online, which is good. Society needs that.
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
that's what will bring everybody kind of back together is getting a little bit of common ground and common sense back.
Yeah.
they're not who they say they're. Everybody is going to post their highlight reels. And when you don't, you hear about how negative you're being, or, oh, you shouldn't post that. You
Right.
shouldn't do that. I know you get that with
All
how
the
when
time.
you're healing and posting, trying to help other people, and it's genuine and it's coming from a genuine place, you hear how you shouldn't act like that. Don't do that. I'm going, why? This is going to help so many people.
Yeah.
Why would I not? Everybody goes through it. Why
Yeah.
does society want to act like life is a highlight reel? Because it's not.
That's the
It's-
thing. Like,
It's weird.
I genuinely, I was just thinking about this on the plane right here. Why are we so afraid of showing that we're human when we're all human? Like, why are we so afraid of that? Why do we fear
Doesn't get the
being
views,
seen
right? Or
as an actual person?
you won't get the respect, or your
Who gives a
this, or- yeah, I
shit?
know exactly. I'm
Honestly-
like, but you will from the right
Yes.
people
From the right people.
that you want it
From the people that matter. I mean,
Absolutely.
listen, for one, it's never, I don't know why people think it's good. It's not good to set unrealistic expectations for people ever,
No.
especially the younger generation that watch all of this shit.
Yep.
And honestly, a lot of the drama gets more views than all the positive, happy-go-lucky shit you post anyway. Most
Yep.
people love drama.
Mhm.
They want to see and hear the negative shit that goes on, which is not necessarily the healthiest either. But at the end of the day, I mean, it doesn't set a good precedent for anybody
Mhm.
to just constantly post the good shit going on in your
No.
life.
It doesn't. It's
Yeah.
not.
It's
it
not
doesn't.
healthy for the person doing it either.
No, it's
No.
not. Absolutely not. Because you're not facing the problems in your life. You're in denial. Yeah.
You're hiding, and then you become ashamed of every part of yourself that's actually real. And that's what our world needs the most. Like, we need real. We need people that are vulnerable enough to say, hey, this looks really great in some of these pictures. My life looks amazing, but here's the downside. I struggle with depression really bad. I get
Yeah.
anxiety really bad. My life is not perfect. No matter how many things you see of me on my highlight reel, please know that, like, I'm a human and I'm experiencing human things. And people need to see that, because it brings together like more of a community where people can go, okay, I can breathe. Like, I can actually act like I'm a living, breathing human being now because other people are.
No, it's
sad.
true. You make people more comfortable, right? The more they see other people do it, the more they'll be willing to do it. If everybody's clammed up all the time, instinctively, people are going to be the same way.
Exactly.
They're going to be too afraid to open up because everybody else around them stays bottled up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. Why would you be vulnerable when other people around you are not willing to be vulnerable?
Yeah.
And is
You
there a
know?
worse feeling than walking into a room full of all superficial people? Like, you,
No.
it's
Ugh.
like you could cut the tension with a knife, and
It's
you know it
miserable.
when you do.
Oh.
When you walk in and it's just all surface level, all bullshit. You can spot it a mile away, and it's so uncomfortable.
It makes me angry
Yeah.
because I get ready. Like, I put makeup and outfit and thought into my readiness. Then when you have children, you have to get a sitter, and you have to make sure that they're cared for to go to these events or walk into these rooms. So then you spend money and time on that. Then you make the drive, and then you get there, and it's that pet peeve.
Yeah.
Hate it. A lot in my industry that goes on.
Oh.
Oh, I'm
A
sure.
lot of that goes on in my industry. And I've been known to do this. Walk into a room and turn around and walk right back out and go to the nearest fun place without any of those people, because I won't even do it anymore. Like, it's gotten so bad that I won't even do it anymore.
Amen.
Why? Then everybody's like, well, you have to network. You got to go to know these people because you got to get in the right rooms and sit at it. And no, that's okay. I built my entire business on authenticity.
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
I don't need to go into a fake room at all. And
Mhm.
honestly, I'll leave that for the competition.
Facts. I would rather be alone every day of the week
100%.
than surrounded by a bunch of people who are fake, superficial, with motives that they're hiding. I don't care.
Oh, for sure. You
My
can't trust it.
circle is so small now.
You can't trust anybody that's like that.
Yeah.
You
It's
can't.
awful. And the whole time you're like sipping a cocktail, just awkwardly
Mhm.
standing there listening. I don't know if it's me or if the collaborative feels this way and just doesn't say anything, but the minute somebody opens their mouth, I already know if they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
The minute they open their mouth. And I'll either play the game just to be kind of nice and deal with it, or I'll find a reason to leave the like, oh, my
Right.
phone's ringing, my kid's calling me, I gotta go, there's an emergency, bye. And I'll get out. But more people, I think, than not actually might believe some of the things that
I think I do have a tendency. Like, I'm learning this year, especially, like, I've really been hit hard in the face with like the reality of what people are like.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think for me, and I don't know how many people can relate to this, for me, it comes from a place of knowing that I'm being genuine. And so my first instinct isn't, oh, they're fake.
Right.
Like you sense it, like your spirit kind of knows, but I'm thinking, no, but I wouldn't act like that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be that way.
Right.
And so it's hard for me to wrap my head around other people acting that way
Right.
or just acting in general. Like it's
You want
hard
to
for me.
believe that they're good.
Normal.
And and maybe I want to say even good, right? They're probably good people.
Yeah.
They're embellishing and
Yeah.
things that just don't make sense or add up.
Because they're always trying to keep up with the person next to them.
Yes.
Right? It's a
Yes.
competition. It's constantly a competition. Everyone's always trying to one up each other.
Always.
It's like, why? Just be yourself.
Yep.
Like, that should be enough for you.
it should.
And if you're not happy with who you are, then fucking change it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hear your stories and I don't want to hear your bullshit.
And a huge part of that, like learning to, if you're not happy being who you are, then change it. A huge part of that is coming to a place of learning to actually like yourself for who you are so that you don't feel like you have to be something different. And that's been huge for me on my like healing journey is like becoming, happy with who I am helps me be more authentic and not give a shit what other people think so much.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. It's so smart to figure all of this out. And I'm glad that you are, with what I do for a living, that's kind of, I have to be a good people reader, right? Like
Yeah.
I negotiate for a living. So I have to kind of know the human brain and mind and how it works and what works where. For you, you're so authentic and giving and kind that is such a good thing for you to learn is that people, like you said in that one episode, like you want to believe that everybody's good.
Yeah.
Most people are, but sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
And that's so good because it'll bring you so much further. And the authenticity, I tell
So,
everybody.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
No,
just
you're
so
good.
you can re-say it. So you're say authenticity.
Well, I say it from
Well, I was trying to help
from
you
the Midwest.
so the dog can edit it in for you. I wasn't doing it to be. By the way, don't take it personal.
I'm not
I was
at all
doing
totally
it so
about
that
I have a lot
he
of
can
words,
put
too.
it.
say it again. Authenticity.
Yeah.
Authenticity.
There you go. You just say it like that. Now
What did I
Doug
call-
will spice it.
Authenticity.
There you go. Perfect.
Anyway.
I was trying to help you, not.
I love it.
Okay.
No, I'm so happy.
That's
because
all.
I will catch niche is another one. Niche or
Niche.
niche.
What is it?
I don't know.
Well, there's niche and
Somebody
niche.
please.
They're two separate things.
Oh.
So a niche is like a cutout on a wall, and a niche is like a something niche to you, like a roll. Right. It's a roll.
Never knew it.
Wow.
See, I'm not looking at you like I'm
I hope
upset.
you didn't take that the
Not
wrong
at all.
way.
I'm looking
Okay.
at you like I'm so excited right
Because
now.
I know-
more you
We
know.
had this conversation about espresso and espresso. Remember?
Yes.
Espresso and espresso.
Right. So I know when I hear myself say something wrong, it fucking kills me.
No,
And I'm
please.
Like, oh, I can't believe I said that.
Especially like I need to know
All
these.
right, cool. That's all.
I
So
love you.
It was all done with love. I promise.
No, it's good. I
Yeah.
never knew it.
cool.
This is why I'm looking at my face right now. I'm like, oh my God, I've been saying that wrong my whole life.
Well, I
We have
figured.
them. We all have those words.
Authenticity.
do.
Authenticity.
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 That's so funny.
Authenticity, darling.
Maybe everybody looks at me like I'm crazy when I say it for that reason. I thought it was because nobody was
What were you
authentic.
saying?
How was I saying it?
Authenticity.
Authentic. Authentically?
Authenticity or something like that.
Authenticity.
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 It's
Wait,
like a
what
Gre-
is it?
It's like a Greek.
Authenticity.
I am
Authenticity.
so excited to know this, though.
You were saying it like it's the name of a Greek god.
It might be.
Authenticity.
You know what? I like that. A Greek goddess.
Wait, now you're going to mess me up. How do you actually say it?
Authenticity.
Authenticity.
There you go.
I feel like you should blooper this reel out. This is pretty good.
Yeah, seriously.
We're gonna keep it in. We'll keep it.
Learning
Keep it in.
vocabulary every
Yeah.
day.
And see, it's making me more authentic.
There you
Yeah.
go.
It's making me more authentic. No, I think it's good though that you are picking. It took me coming down here to figure it out. And you start talking to people and you're like, huh? Well, that's weird. I don't think that's true, but okay.
Oh,
You're making it sound true,
When
though.
people are full of shit.
Yeah. But I'm going to let, you know what? The
Well-
other part of me is like, I'm going to let him stay there. Because if it's making him feel better and it's giving him a little dopamine hit, you know what? Tell me all about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I
I'm just not going to pay you for your services or like, don't sell me anything, but I'll
Yeah.
listen to you and tell
But-
you great job.
Yeah.
do you need? Listen. At the end of the day, we don't need to go out of our way to call people out all the time.
No, that's
you know,
another thing that needs to stop in society.
It does.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a lot of toxicity in the world. So at the end of the day, if the worst you have to deal with is someone exaggerating a story,
Right.
you can let them fucking toot their own horn and go a little bit on and listen to them. It's fine.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Right. Why not? Is it really affecting you that much? If it's not
No.
directly affecting your life and something in it, then who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Honestly. They
Yeah.
want to lie. They want to bullshit.
Yeah, I'm very much a sit back kind of person. Like, I just let people say what they want to say. Whether I
Right.
believe it or not, I'm just like,
Right.
oh,
Do you know how rare that is?
Why?
For people to do?
Why?
In this
No.
generation, everybody has to be right.
Oh, for
well,
sure.
And
I
they
could care
have
less.
to argue. And this whole thing, it's why? It's not going to change anybody's mind.
Yeah.
I
No.
mean, so many people come at me with politics stuff, especially now we're getting close to an election. And I'm
Oh.
like, nobody's changing anybody's minds. Why are we still doing this? Like,
Yeah.
I would love to change your mind and make you view
Yeah.
my things my way. But I think we're to a point where it's not going to happen. So how about we just go get some food?
Can we?
Right?
Like, let's eat.
You
Can we-
believe what you believe. I believe what I believe, and
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that.
Like, why are we
Exactly.
still trying to correct everybody and be right all the time? But they're like, I don't know. So much. Again, it goes back to generational. When we were
Oh.
kids and young, that wasn't. If it was happening, we didn't hear about it at the volume we do now.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that's lacking today is just there's a lot of disloyal people in the world, just backstabbers.
Yeah.
You know, nobody has any sense of loyalty today. It's whatever suits them in the moment. Could be
1000%.
friends, could be family, could be anybody. It's just we've all lost that sense of respect and loyalty to one another.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's so divided all the time. Everybody's wishing the worst on each other. You know, everybody's out for themselves.
Yeah. Eye for an
It's
eye.
just not how things used to be. Not when I was growing up. I mean, it's changed a lot, and it's becoming dramatic,
Yeah,
more
it
and more
is.
dramatic.
I heard this quote the other day that was so good. I don't even remember who it was. I think it was Jordan Peterson, and I'm not going to say this exactly like he did, so don't quote me on this. But he said, you have to be as cunning as the snake, but as humble as the lamb. And I
That's
was
really
like,
good.
damn. And that's not maybe exactly how I said it, but I thought that one sentence is life-changing for me
It's huge.
because it reminds you that you do have to be smart. You have to be smart enough to know and
You
have the
do.
wisdom to know. Don't get all up in it and like think you're better than everybody and treat people badly and you know cut people off and like do shady things. You can't act like the snake, but you should be as smart as the snake.
To have that mindset, so you know, it's sad that we have to be like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brutal, and it is. If you're loyal in this day and age,
Yeah.
you're a step above everybody else. I
You
feel
are.
like, or at least 99% of people. It doesn't exist. It does. It does exist.
It exists.
It's very
just-
rare.
It's rare.
Right.
It's rare to find in people. Even people even people you know sometimes. It's tough, but the reality of it is it's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's jealousy or resentment or
Both.
just, you know, greed.
A lot of it.
It comes from a lot of like kind of just bad places. And that's why you need to keep your circle small,
Mhm.
you know, and you need to watch everybody you surround yourself with. So while you don't necessarily need to cut people off all the time, you do need to watch out to who you let into your life.
Well,
I
the
mean,
thing
you
is,
do.
people who do not have the courage to do what you're doing will resent you for doing it. It sucks, but it's just the fact of life. People that don't have the means to have what you have will resent you for having it.
You show them mirrors that they don't want to look at. When you
That's
take
right.
big
Yeah.
risks and then the reward comes,
Yeah.
they don't want that to happen because then it makes them feel like they're less.
Mm-hmm.
And when we left our old home, and this happened to us when we came down here, and it was, no one will admit it. No one will say the truth. They don't want to. They don't
Yeah.
even want to talk about it. That's why for me, it's an evaluation of who's in your life doing it to you,
Mhm.
making you feel that way, and ending it
Mhm.
because it will squash every opportunity that you will have. There's a saying that it's like something like, if you want a new life, get ready to watch your old one shatter.
Yeah.
And it has to in a lot of ways because who you used to be is not who you are anymore. And that's a growth thing and that's a good thing. But I think a lot of people who are afraid of growth in a way, whether they want to talk about it or not, resent the people that aren't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so when you seek to explore and you give yourself the ability to do it, typically it's mixed with a combination of working your ass off, sleepless nights,
Right.
giving up stuff you love, like for instance, homeschooling my kids. I have no free time at all. This is like I'm turning 40 next year. Like this is my prime time right now to go have my kids in school 8 hours a day and be able to go get my nails done or go to lunch with a girlfriend. I gave a lot of this up right now. And when my kids are 18, 19 and going out into the world, I'm going to be much older. And I don't know that I need my nails done right now. Don't look at them.
Right.
But I don't
Same.
even know that I'm going to, have the desire to do that. I don't know what I'm going to be. Will I even be here then? So people look at that as like, oh, you get to do whatever you want. No, and I gave up a lot
Yeah.
to do certain things the risk takers. Anybody who takes risks, there's a lot more to it than what meets the eye. And I think most people know that. and they're
They
not
do.
willing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not willing to do it and you do, it's I'm not good enough, which comes out as
Yeah, because people don't want to face themselves. And like
Right.
I've been saying this a lot lately, you can only reach the level of which you're willing to face yourself.
right.
If you can't look at your shadows, if you can't look at your weaknesses, if you can't take accountability for the things that hold you back in honesty, you'll never go past them.
Yeah.
Those things will keep you exactly where you are for the rest of your life. It is like an epidemic.
Yeah.
Like belief in yourself is hard, but you have to crack the thing within you that is keeping you from believing in yourself. And people don't want to face themselves. They don't want to face the pain. They don't want to sit in it. They don't want to process it. And so it makes it really hard watching other people do those things, watching other people that are brave enough to go, you know what? I may not believe in myself right now, but I am going to do this anyway because I know that somewhere at the end of this, I will get where I'm going. And you do that. And it makes people feel ashamed of themselves because they can't.
It does.
And they can.
They can.
They just won't.
They
Right.
have to motivate themselves to get up and do the work.
But we
And-
all do. We all have to motivate ourselves. I don't have anybody cheering me
100%.
on every day.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
You
No.
know? Like
No.
you have to be your biggest cheerleader, your biggest supporter, your biggest believer. You have to be it for yourself. It's like Mel Robbins says, no one's coming to save you. It's up to you.
It is.
Listen, some people have a really hard time pulling the trigger and taking risks, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, you can't resent other people that do it. You
No.
just can't. Listen, you
Mm-mm.
have the ability to do anything you want, and you have to. You need to be willing to take risks in life to further yourself.
Mhm.
And if you're not, you can't hate the person next to you for doing it.
Right.
Like that's the reality of it. You have the power to do it. Take your fucking faith into your own hands and do something with yourself.
Yep.
Don't fucking drag me down. Don't drag people down around you
Yep.
because you didn't have I don't want to say you don't have the balls to do it.
Mhm.
Like that's not my problem. That's an insecurity that you have.
Yeah.
Fine. Do what you have to do to get past it,
Mhm.
but just don't make my life more difficult because of it. I
Right.
didn't do anything to
Exactly.
you.
But that's the thing. Those types of people, they're poison because
They're toxic.
if they were accountable in any way, they would do it for themselves. They wouldn't have to sit around being
Right.
jealous and angry and mad
Yeah.
at you for having it. They would
Yeah.
do it for themselves, but the fact that they won't tells you that they can't look at themselves, and accountability is the
Right.
only thing that'll get you anywhere you want to go. We are our biggest fans and our worst enemies. You know,
Every
the devil and God and the devil both exist within each and every one
Yeah.
of us. And we have to decide, who are we listening to? Am I going to listen to what God says I am and who God says I can be? Or I'm going to let the enemy hold me down for the rest of my life and tell me that I'm worthless and I'm not worth it. There is not a single person that ever made it in this life that made it believing they were worthless. They had to believe they weren't. They had to believe there was more, that God wanted more for them, or they would have never made it.
And that's why the leadership key comes into place. And that's where I think a lot of people want that position and they want to get up there, but they don't want to do what it takes to get there. And
No.
it's all self-awareness. Really diving and digging into that and opening up whatever Pandora's box is within you
Yeah.
and exposing it and being completely vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
and letting it out. And a lot of times I think back to the social media thing is when you talk about that on social media platforms, then it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're saying those things. I can't believe you're really saying those things. But I'm like, I'm going to expose myself before I'm going to let any of you do it. Here is where I'm at. And then what happens is once it's out there, you start to realize that didn't mess me up
Yeah.
near as bad as I thought that was. I'm going to go
Right.
to the next level now.
Yeah.
And then you really start bettering yourself. If there's ever a time in my life where I know everything or I don't need to learn from somebody else, it's time to be done. It's time to be done because there's no way that any of us can ever stop growing, learning, or being
No.
better.
Right.
Why are there so many people that sit back and just allow that to happen in their lives? I'm going, there's so much potential in every single person on this planet. We're all unique. We all have certain skills and attributes that other people don't. Go put a light on those things and shine. You're gonna be successful.
Yeah.
Quit hating on the ones that figure it
Yeah.
out.
It's that inner
Quit-
battle.
It tears you up too. It's not easy. I mean,
No.
I went through that recently moving here. It was a very new world for me to look at what other people's perceptions or optics were on the life choices we were making because it was very public. That was very scary and alarming. But the whole time I stuck to, all right, we're doing this. And there's no backup plan. There's no plan B.
Right.
You know, you wipe
Mhm.
out plan B because if you have a plan B, you're probably not going to get plan A
No,
done.
because you already got one foot out the door at that
You already got
point.
one. Yep, you're not all
Mhm.
in. You got to
Yeah.
be all in. Make the
Yeah.
choice and go with it. And it's a beautiful thing when you get there. You know, I really think it's all tied in together. All of what we're talking about, the loyalty piece. If you can't be loyal, can you be responsible enough to do what it is that you're going to need to do to take the risks?
Right.
If you aren't taking risks, can you be loyal enough to develop relationships that are genuine enough for you to get to those levels? All stuff to look at, but loyalty, starting back there, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Finding those people that
Right.
you connect with, and they will take you places with them, but you got to stay with them. And it's not just when things are good.
Yeah.
That's the other part of it.
Well, that's the other thing. People like to tap out really
Mhm.
quick. Things aren't going their way, or if the relationship's not benefiting them in
Yeah.
any way. Marriage, relationships, work, life, anything.
It does. Like,
It's
it needs
crazy.
to be right. It does not, none of the success, anything in life happens as fast as you think it's going to
No.
happen or as easy as you think it's going to happen. I don't
Facts.
care how good you are at something. When you level up, it is not easy.
It's
and
not.
it's going to take a lot longer than you think.
Oh, yeah.
People love to look at, they love to look at everything positive going on in your life, and they love to think that you have it easy.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's not easy, and it was never easy.
Right.
The problem is, it may look easy because I work my ass off.
Yeah.
Because I do what I need to do to get things done.
Yes.
So everybody wants to take a shortcut today.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, just because you see something going well for somebody else, you have no idea what they went through to get there.
Yeah.
So stop taking it for granted. Just do the work. Just pursue things, take risks, don't hate on me, and move forward with your life. Just do something positive with yourself. Be loyal to the people who are good to you. Have goals for yourself and move forward. It just, I don't know. I feel like we just lack it a lot today.
We
A
do.
lot of people lack it.
We do. And it's hard. It makes everything tougher. I've got an old broker friend of mine who said, enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride. And if you can't figure out how to enjoy the ride when things are shitty,
Yeah.
then you don't deserve the ride when things are great. So you have to
That's true.
enjoy the ride. Figure it. It's not easy. There's a book called Think and Grow Rich. Have you guys read that?
Yeah. No, I haven't read it, but I have it.
Napoleon Hill, I think, wrote it. It's like my favorite
What's it
book.
about?
It's good.
It's a recipe for success. It's like 12 or
Uh-huh.
13 steps. I don't know, one of the two, but it's like it walks you through mindset, ways to actively become successful.
Yeah.
And it touches on every one of these topics. And it's honestly one of those books that I couldn't put down. And now I'm reading it again to my husband and my kids.
Does it help you? Does it serve you well?
1000%.
Cool.
It's really interesting to think about our thoughts and how powerful they are.
Mm-hmm.
And it all, like I said, it all ties in because our thoughts, what we think becomes an
Reality.
energy. And a lot of people call it faith, or, they think they tie it into prayer. And it talks about that in the book.
They
It's
manifest
great.
things.
You manifest, if you are constantly driving in your car every day and you're like, this fucking traffic, this stupid,
That's what you're going to get.
you're gonna get that because
Yeah.
that's just the energy. If you look at it like, you know what? I'm here. I have a car. I can drive. I'm happy. Look at what I have that so many people don't. And I know it's hard to do that every day. We all have bad days where we get up and we're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
these people are
Right.
driving me nuts. But if you can somehow, it's just like going to the gym every day. If you can train
Mhm.
your mind to stop looking at so many negatives, you'll start attracting the positives. People don't want to commit to the effort it takes to do that, though. Just like they don't want to
No.
commit to getting up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't. Go
I
to
don't
the
want
gym.
to either.
I don't
but
go to the gym.
Oh, you do
I
what you
do.
can.
But I
But-
also don't hate my stunning sister-in-law who is quite literally flawless inside and
Right.
out. But I mean, I don't hate
Right.
her.
You can't be mad at her
I'm
for
not-
doing the work.
I'm not jealous of her. I'm envious, no doubt about it. In a way, I would love to look like that, but I know it's not her fault. I don't look like that.
Right.
Right. You're not trying to sabotage her.
No, I can't believe she
Right.
eats like that and goes to the
Don't you
gym.
dare dress up
No.
around me.
There are women and probably men who do that though. Oh, he's just taking testosterone, or he's just on this, or he's.
Right.
I'm like, but maybe he is taking some of that, but he's also in the gym every day.
I know people think it's like a miracle thing. Just
Yeah.
because what the fuck do you think he just sticks a needle on his ass every day? And he
Let me
just
tell you,
bulks
those
up?
guys
They
get
work their
really
asses
pissed
off.
off when you talk.
It's crazy. It's like these people work their asses off in the gym. Have you
Yeah.
ever
Right.
seen somebody with
Right.
that build, what they're like in the gym? I don't give a shit what they're taking.
Yeah.
The fact that they could get up in the morning and get their ass there,
Yeah.
that's huge. I can't do it.
People-
I don't want to say I can't. I don't make myself.
Or you don't want to. And listen, some
I don't
people
want
just
to.
don't want to do
I
things.
do want to.
And that's okay
That's
if that's
fine.
where you're at and you're good with it.
Yeah.
I'm 100% acknowledging my own issue.
Right.
And I am blaming no one for it.
Right.
And I think that's where it starts. Whatever it is that takes consistency and persistence and it's hard work, people hate
Well, people,
the people that do it well.
Right.
you're right. people they tend to try to go down the path of least resistance.
Yeah,
And
of
that's
course.
a problem because it's very rare that any road to success is the path of least resistance. And it's the
Right.
truth. It's always hard work.
And
But you know,
yeah.
consistency is a huge factor too.
Oh, yeah.
Because
you have to
maybe
be
maybe you
consistent.
can ease into things if you're willing to have the patience and the consistency to just keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
you
gotta
know?
get out. You got to,
And-
and that's what the book talks about that too. Like,
Yeah.
write it down. Have an actual plan of action. This is how I live my life. I have notes and a plan of action for everything I do.
You have to.
I don't know how people live without them,
No.
to be honest. I'm like, wait, you don't have a list?
Right.
Whoa, we got to talk to you.
Let
we
me
can
see
make-
your 5-year plan right now.
We can make your life so much better if you just give me 5 minutes and let me help you with a list.
Yeah, right.
Like, have a set purpose, intention, goal. Where are you going? Where do you want it to? And I use the experiment on my husband because for a long time, like I was telling you guys, he runs his own company. Well, he did. Now, when we moved down here and we changed things up a little bit, different need here. The market's changed. Things are for what his old job was and his career and his business. It's different right now, and that's
Mhm.
okay. You pivot. With him, I started talking to him about long term. What are our final goals? Like I told you, we're turning 40 next month. We're going out. We're coming out. We're
Yeah.
going into retirement. We're not. But, I said on our exit, as the boys get older, what's our finality? What are we doing? What are we doing? And let's have these conversations so we don't work ourselves to death. What are we seeking in life? Let's talk about it. Let's put it down on paper. That way we can look at it.
Yeah.
And when we feel like we're getting off track or we're getting jealous or we're having insecurities or we're not getting where we want to be going, we can look at our plan and go, what do I need to shift around in order from to get from point A to point B?
Facts.
It makes your life so much easier.
Yeah.
And it's not been easy. I've had to really lean into my faith and just remaining a good person. There were so many times during my transition that I could have become what I hated in everyone else because I wanted to, because there's so many of them. And it felt like almost everybody was like a bad person for a long time. I'm like, you know what? Why am I being good? Screw that. Like, no, I'm going to try it their way. And I'm going to be honest for just 1 second. I kind of started to I'm going to have it different. It sucks.
Well, you want to give it back. That's
Misery sucks.
It does suck. I'm not a miserable person, and I never have. I've always been like a bubbly cartoon character, and I am. And when I like took on that heaviness that everybody else was, I'm like, I'm gonna be a bitch. I'm just gonna do it. It is not fun. That is
Mm-mm.
hard
No.
work.
It's a miserable existence.
because it's not you.
It's not, and it's just really not fun.
No, it isn't.
I don't care what other people think. If
It's not even about what other people think. It's like
No.
negativity is just, it'll destroy you. It destroys you. You can't be cruel and mean and, horrible to people and feel good about yourself. You just can't.
No, it's a lot. It's toxic for you.
Unless you're a psychopath or a narcissist.
They love that shit.
They do love it, but that's
It's
a different
wild.
story.
It's bizarre.
It takes so much energy to hate somebody. It really
Yes.
does. You care way too much
It
about
does.
that person if you hate them.
Yes.
It does. Like, exhausting.
It is.
So much easier to let it go and move on with your life and find the right people to sit with it. I mean, really, seriously, who you surround yourself with is 10 out of
for
10.
sure. If you have any respect for yourself, you'll remove toxic people from your life.
And do it. Like,
Wow.
no ifs, ands, or buts.
Wow.
However you got to cut it, cut it.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you have to call every single one of them up and be
Uh-uh.
like, just so you know,
No.
I'm making some changes in my life, and
Right.
it turns out you're not a good thing for me anymore. So, or
Yeah.
just you're not gonna ever hear from me again.
You didn't make the cut. Sorry.
Sorry. Better luck next year.
Like, can you do it that way so I can just walk? That'd be great.
It's like they say
No,
silence is powerful.
It is.
Honestly,
You just kind of,
be busy. You're just busy.
and you can still love them too.
100%.
You can still absolutely love them and wish the best for them, but you have to have it's boundaries. It's just boundaries.
You need to.
It's
you need to
learning.
love them.
yeah.
You need to. That was the hardest lesson I learned this year was loving people who hurt me and not wishing bad on the people that I got to certain places in their lives. Without me, they would have never been. And that was a humbleness. And I needed to acknowledge it. I needed to say, you know what? I did do that because that matters. My work and my effort into what I helped them build matters. My time, my money, my
Yeah.
blood, sweat, tears. That's important. That makes me, right? Like, I want to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
A long time, I would not. I don't want any credit. No, humble, No. I worked my ass off to help you get somewhere too. And then when you dump on somebody, it's hard to not hate them.
Yeah.
You feel taken and you want to scream it to the world. But I found that when you don't and you work on you and healing whatever part of you is that angry and upset and you work on just that, it fixes itself.
Yep.
You don't have to go after and chase and be derogatory and negative and join them in this war. You
Right.
can have that war with yourself and walk out and be like, I'm clean as a whistle
That's right.
and I feel great.
That's
So
right.
I faced the demons. I did the work I needed to do. I acknowledged and gave credit to myself. And then I grew myself from feeling those feelings. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to.
Mhm.
I think there's like an innate feeling within all of human beings to like go there.
What are you saying? When you say go there, you mean to retaliate at people?
Yep.
Yeah, I get it. But at the end of the day, and I always tell people this, silence is a killer. You know, you don't need to do those things. Just keep doing you. Because at the end of the day, those people that you want to come back at, you're already getting to them,
Yeah.
right? Because they're hating on you. They're causing grief in your life. They're resentful. And you can see those things in them.
Yeah.
So why do you even need to go after them, right? Because at the end of the day, you're already torturing them.
If they're going
Just
out of their way to put you down, you're already bothering them,
Right.
or they wouldn't feel the need.
Right.
Exactly.
So if you just keep winning, that's the best revenge.
Yeah.
If I didn't even notice
Bingo.
you putting me down because I'm too busy building a
Right.
life for myself that's bigger and better than anything you'll ever know because you live in a negative mindset and have to put people down. Sorry.
That's something a lot of people don't live by. Do you ever remember the saying, like when your parents just like, don't stoop to their level?
Yeah.
yeah.
Seriously, you forget that.
So true.
That's how we used
Every
to be.
saying
Yeah,
that was from when we were kids
Yeah.
had truth to it.
it really did.
Yeah.
You know?
I find myself using them all the time to my own kids. And I'm like, damn it.
You sound
They do
old.
that. Are you going to, if Joe jumps off the bridge, are you going to go? Shit.
I catch myself saying things and I'm like, fuck, I'm so old.
No, I'm so old.
My
And then
father used to say that.
you're going to finish that. There are starving kids in other countries that would kill for that carrot. And then I'm
know.
like, but there really are. Like,
Yeah.
eat the carrot. You know, like
Yeah.
it really does bother you as you grow older. It's weird.
And
But
your kid's
it's-
like,
it's
dude,
true.
bro, chill out.
I know.
Well, you
bro.
put more
But the
value into
Sigma.
things. You do. Well, the harder you work for things, the more value they have to you. So
That's
you
very
start to
true.
realize that you took a lot of things for granted when you were a kid.
Yeah.
You know,
It's part of that development
'cause
as you
now
get
when you-
older.
when you
Makes you
earn it-
sad.
when you earn $1 and you spend it, you're like, fuck, I worked hard for that dollar. You know, eat that fucking Cheerio.
Eat it. I am tired. Mommy is exhausted. Damn it.
Every Cheerio counts.
Why did you not put the dish all the way in the sink? I mean, the most minuscule, stupid things. It's
Yeah,
true.
it
You're like,
is.
"Ugh," you start to value your money and time, and it's just different. But I mean, you're right, though. The silence thing is huge. I
It
think
is.
if you have a narcissist in your life, just shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
Because they thrive.
Oh my God!
off
If
of
you
it.
cut them off and you give them the silence, they don't know they don't know
Oh.
what to do with themselves. It eats at them day and night and night and day. And you're never gonna know it, and you don't need to. That's the other part of it. Like,
But you do kind of know.
You
But
kinda want
You do
to.
know it though. But you know,
Oh,
but
that's
you
gonna
know
eat
it
them.
too, because if you know the personality type, then you know what bothers someone like
Yep.
that. So
Yep.
you just need to convince yourself every day that I know my silence and success is torturing that
Torturing.
person.
Well, silence
that's it.
bothers everyone.
Oh,
even
for
silence
sure.
bothers
You don't
You're
even
not
have to be a
acknowledged.
narcissist for silence
Really,
bothers
it
me.
does.
Yeah.
Because if you have any sort of like self accountability or you reflect at all, you're going, okay, did I do something?
Right.
Did something happen? Like silence is powerful regardless. But that's why narcissistic people use it. They know how powerful it is,
Yeah.
right? So you just got to be smart enough, smart like the snake, you know, and
just cut them off.
Yeah.
And watch them squirm.
or just cut them off and just
I
try
mean
not
that
to
in a
ever think
very
about them again.
Godly way. No, yeah, but seriously, you're right. And that really think about just your daughter. Like
Mhm.
if you ask her to do, and she just ignores you.
I know you want to strangle her.
The rage that I caught, and then I'm like, then I find myself being like, Googling like, am I a narcissist?
Am I crazy?
Because that really made me mad.
This is really
You
upsetting.
know, the funny is
me.
we talk a lot about people that are narcissistic or just toxic people. Listen, there could be good people that aren't necessarily healthiest for you, right? They could still be toxic to you.
Yeah.
So just because, we talk a lot about people that are just really
Oh,
toxic people
sure.
in general, but the reality of it is there are good people in the world. They could just be toxic for your particular life.
That's so
That's
true.
such a great point.
You know?
It's so, and especially in romantic relationships, sometimes you can have two good people, but together they're toxic.
Right.
It's
All
like
the
every
time.
trigger I have, they trigger.
Yeah.
Every trigger they have, I trigger. And it's not because they're a bad person or I am. It's just like we're just like butting heads constantly.
No, you're like oil and vinegar.
Yeah.
It's the
You know, it just
chemistry.
doesn't
It's
go well.
chemistry is in every relationship, business, spouse, relationships.
Right.
It's in everything. I mean, if somebody's chemistry just isn't your chemistry, doesn't mean they're a bad person. They're
Right.
just
No.
bad for you. That's
Yeah.
a really good point.
Yeah, you find yourself bumping heads. Think about how many good people you find yourself bumping heads. You just don't have the same opinions.
You
Yeah.
don't. And here's
Yeah.
the thing. I think so many people think people can change, and they can,
To a
but
degree.
the timeline of what that is going to look like and how long that is going to take, you have to factor in what is going to happen with yourself during that time
Right.
while they change, if they change. The fact that you think that they are going to change is one thing. I have gotten, again, I just feel like I'm learning. I'm learning that most of the time, by now, by 40, we're kind of where we're going to be.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
my husband's things that he does aren't, they're going to not probably change.
Yeah.
No.
You know, like,
I-
and you got to find what's works with you.
Yeah.
You know?
Can you
Yeah.
tolerate it? Because you're going to have to tolerate something with everyone.
No, you are. Like I said, I've said this before. You need to find perfection in imperfect people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. Otherwise, you're never going to be happy.
Can you see the good over the bad?
Right.
You know?
Listen, people can change. Superficially, people can change.
Yeah.
It's very hard for people to change who they are at their core, though.
It's
Yeah.
almost impossible.
So,
Yeah.
you need to recognize who a person is at their core. And then if that's not something you can live with, because the odds of them changing that are very, very slim, especially at our age.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
superficially, can people change? Absolutely. Little things, make concessions for you, 100%. Are they going to change who they are as a human being? They're how they're built?
Yeah.
No, they're never going to change.
Your
how they're
natural
built.
tendencies are your natural
Yeah,
tendencies.
That's just the reality of it.
Can you work on them? Sure. Can
Yeah.
you improve? Sure. But
Mhm.
it's like a drug addict. The drug addict is still always going to crave it.
Yeah.
Even if they are sober, can be
It's
5. You know,
comfortable.
I
like
crave
even
it.
when you're sober,
I
you're
am
still going to
craving
crave
sometimes,
that
for sure.
Absolutely.
thing, right?
There's something that led you there to begin with.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure. I have moments where I'm super stressed out, and it's not even necessarily it's not necessarily the craving for a drug. It's the craving to quiet everything,
Yes.
right? Because I know what it did for
Ooh,
me.
that's good.
So it's kind of like I know, like, oh, I could very easily get rid of this feeling really quick, and I have.
And
a
I'm gonna go the
moment-
easy route.
Right, I have a moment, and I get rid of it,
And that's their
it.
tendencies. The people's
Yeah.
natural tendencies are their natural tendencies. They're
Right.
always going to resort to that in their mind.
Right.
It's just how much growth have they, you know.
Right, you need to learn how to steer yourself away from those paths. That's
Yeah.
all. Yeah,
Yeah.
I may not change who I am. I may not change the fact that that's always going to be there, but I can learn how to divert myself away from that thought process.
For
Exactly.
sure.
You know,
Exactly.
Yeah, people are who they show you.
you got to believe people when they tell you who
They
they
you
are.
do, and what's on the other side of that is so freaking awesome. I mean, happiness is so good. To be happy and thriving and have somebody that supports you. I mean, seriously, it's a game changer. Whether it's a friend or family member or spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend or your kids, whoever it is in your life that constantly will keep you on that pedestal and you keep them on that pedestal, that's where you need to be. It's such a game changer. It changes everything about your life. People, I think, don't feel worthy of that kind of relationship a lot in this generation. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, there's a lot of insecurities built
Yeah.
in this generation.
You can find it if
Yeah.
you look. You just really have to put effort into it. And you're going to go through a lot to get there. But once you get there, it's so great. It's
Yeah.
so nice to not have to worry about who is in my life.
But it's
anymore.
crazy that we even have to say that. It's
Isn't
like,
it?
Why do we need to explain that something worth having is going to take a lot?
Sad.
Like it's crazy. I don't know, like, when people started thinking that it was easy.
I don't
Right.
either.
It's never been
Do
easy.
you think it's
It's-
because of the social media thing? Like
Yeah,
because we post the highlight reels?
Yeah,
It's the grass is
absolutely.
greener.
Oh,
You
for
know,
sure.
like it's there's so many other options out here. You know, and that goes for friendship, relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even dated guys like that where it's like a guy can have the most beautiful, loving, kind, loyal, got your back woman and still be keeping the doors open to other women because it's like, what if?
Yeah, they're
What
so
if?
insecure. And how
Oh.
do you fix that?
What if I meet someone that's even
What an
better?
exhausting battle.
You know?
It is
Ugh.
exhausting.
And it's what sucks is that what always ends up happening is you close the door on the best thing for you because you think there could be better.
Right.
And then you spend the rest of your life seeking that and you never find it.
Well, you trade
Yeah.
the 80 for the 20.
Yes.
Mhm.
Bingo.
And that's for
That's
them.
it, yeah.
That's for them is what I've learned. Let them. Like
Yeah.
I love that I think it was Mel Robinson who said
Yeah.
that too. Let them.
Yeah.
Like bye. Because by the time you recognize this and you want to come back, I'm already going to be healed and moved on.
Yeah.
Facts.
And that's a great thing.
And
because-
someone else will have already realized my potential.
Absolutely. And guess what? You don't have to do any of that trivial bullshit with them.
Oh.
It's just going to happen naturally. It just won't while you're still hung up on whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's why, like I said earlier, that focus needs to be on that plan. And
Yeah.
if that plan is not going in that direction, you can look at what you write down and
Right.
and you can hold yourself accountable a lot
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah.
Because seriously, that is not a life I want to live.
No.
Right. And I don't want to be around people like that.
Mm-mm.
That's
No.
a character flaw.
Miserable.
You know?
The
It
greatest
really
gift
is.
somebody could give you is leaving your life.
Yeah.
Yes. Right?
It really is.
I mean, it is
Because-
a character flaw. Somebody that's always looking for something better. It's toxic. It is toxic, even if they're not toxic
Be
necessarily.
less and fit. Be less and fit. Or, I'm going to treat you this way, or I'm not going to be less. No, I'm out of here. That's the best answer to any of that is moving forward. In
Or
your
or
own-
go
your happiness.
happily.
Or you go.
Yeah.
I remember dating a guy that was so bad. It was just awful. It was right before I met my husband. And I remember thinking, I wish he would cheat on me so I would hate him enough to finally end this. And then I'm like, what a pathetic, stupid thing to say. But also I knew that would be what it took for me to like finally get over that hump of, I just wish he would call me. Like I'd hate him so much that, and turns out he had cheated on me a whole bunch before I even knew it. But finally one time it happened to where it was right in my face. There was
Right.
no denying it. There was no, I couldn't make excuses for it. It happened. And I did. I hated him enough that it was enough. I was
Right.
done. Sad that it took that, but it was a really good learning experience for me, especially at that young age, because then I knew what I would never do again.
Right.
Like I'm not even putting myself here.
Yeah.
Like
It's
we're
good that
not
you
even
learn from
starting.
it, though.
It is.
Yeah. I
You
was
have to
proud.
learn.
That's a 40-year-old Ashley looking at a 21-year-old Ashley
Right.
being like, damn girl. Like
Right.
lesson one, check. Got through that
Facts.
one. And I
Yeah.
never, I think it was more like 25, but I never again.
The people that fail to learn from their mistakes are the people that struggle the most.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. You have to learn from your mistakes.
Well, they just keep coming back.
Yeah.
Self-masochism, man. They just love
They
to
punish
God,
themselves.
It's like punishment.
I know.
And I'm here to tell you on the other side, it's just so cool. It affects every part of your life, whether you think it does or not. We surprisingly, when all of this transition stuff that I carried to Florida to get rid of helped, or like I started to realize it was helping me, it never got in the way of my marriage because we were both on the same page.
Right.
But I think it was because we
Yeah.
bonded over it because it was happening to us both, which it like weirdly brought us closer. Thank God.
Makes
But
sense, though.
I can't even imagine living my life like that. Just
Right.
constantly going back to that environment.
It's so sad. Like
It's so sad.
I did that so much in my early 20s and teenage years. Like that was me. I was just constantly trying to prove myself to people. Like, don't you see that I'm worthy? Can you see that I'm worthy? I need you to prove that I'm worthy. I need you to affirm that I'm worthy. Like, I'm at a place in my life now, thank God, by the grace of God, where I will never go out of my way to prove myself to anyone again. Because if you don't see it, I'm not for you.
Right.
You should be able to look at me and go, this is the greatest thing that could ever happen to me, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make this work.
Yep.
You shouldn't be looking at me going, I mean, yeah, she's got this, I guess, but Sarah over, no, thank you.
What an exhausting.
No,
it is.
thank you.
It's exhausting.
I
life.
am who I am. I'm worthy.
You
Do you
are.
see it or not? That's fine. That's up to you, but I'm worthy. And this is what I require. You can either take it or leave it.
Yep.
But if you don't see my worth, I don't want to be with you.
It's good that you're at that place in your
Oh,
life.
thank God.
So many
Thank
people
you,
go into
Jesus.
things.
Like,
Everybody goes into things with one foot out the door today.
yeah.
It's
wild. I don't
true.
know how you live your life that way, to be honest with you. Nobody wants to fully commit to anything. Like
Mm-mm.
anything
Why
or
is
anyone.
that?
I don't know.
They
It's
call it going with the flow.
fucking bizarre. You're right.
Miserable.
I always get out.
Going with the flow.
Going with I'm a flow guy.
I hate the flow.
It's
Dead fish go with the flow.
rolls.
Is that a like Facebook meme? I feel like I've seen it. Dead
It's-
fish. Only dead fish go with the flow.
I mean, it's how much louder can you say, I have commitment issues and I just want to always know that something else could
Right.
be out there for me. Like, how much louder do you have to be?
and how do you build a life around that?
You can't.
They don't want to, though.
That's the thing. They don't want
Do
to.
they
don't want
enjoy
to.
that lifestyle? I would never
Yes.
enjoy that tumultuous lifestyle.
They
Let
do
me
enjoy
tell
that
you,
lifestyle.
There is something about getting up in the morning, making my coffee, looking out at everything that I've built in my living room and my views and my kids that are sleeping in their bed and my happiness and living my life and leading my day and starting my day with that I'm like, I'm not willing to go any other direction. I won't do it. I'll be alone. And I know that wouldn't be fun. If something happened that derailed that happiness, I get it. I mean, when I lost a certain person in my life last year, it was brutal. It almost killed me, but I made it through.
Right.
And you realize you can still be happy again through those kind of significant losses. Once you get there and you see that, I will say this. I don't know who's going to agree, who's doing it, whatever. If one of my kids, something happened to one of my kids, I'm not getting up from that. I firmly believe that will put me down forever. I
Mhm.
don't think I could ever overcome
Same.
that. To all the parents that do have lost a child, my heart is with you because
Yeah.
I do believe that is the one thing that would end me for life. I
Yeah.
don't think I could get through that. But pretty much everything else, if Brian left me, if money was gone and I lost everything or I had to really restart from the bottom, there is peace in knowing that I'm able
Mhm.
Yeah.
because I'm not going to let my life go the other direction anymore. I saw what that looked like for a second. That is just not a way to live. It's nasty. It's boring. It's miserable. It bleeds into everything you do. I mean, I'd
Yeah.
be eating like a really good piece of pizza and I'm like, this pizza's a piece of shit. Like,
Yeah.
why am I mad at the pizza?
Jordan Peterson
You know?
says if you don't have an aim, you'll be miserable. Like an aimless life is pure hell. It is hell.
Hell.
And we need security as people. Like I think women, especially when it comes to like relationships, like some men don't like to commit and they don't understand how important it is for women. Commitment isn't about, oh, you don't get to have freedom anymore. A woman needs to feel safe, to feel like no matter what happens, I know you're going to be here for me and you're not just going to drop off the face of the planet with some,
Right.
chick in another country. Like security is everything. We can't fully function at our best without some security, I just don't think we can.
No, you can't. And you shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
And to the ones who live their life that way, they've made it a thing for them. They are happier that way. The men and women that I know in my life that I can think of two right off the jump, and I'm going to use my mom as one. She's been married twice. Good marriages. Everything was fine. My dad, not the best, but my stepdad was he was a good stepdad for a long time. They grew apart. They divorced. She dated for a while. She's, I think, 65 now, and she refuses to date. And when I asked her why, I'm like, why? Don't you miss that? Don't you want a man in your life? Don't you want somebody just to come home to? She's like, no, I really don't. And I said, how? Why? How did you get there? She goes, honestly, like you and your brother and the grandkids keep me busy. And I don't really want to like share Christmases with another family. I don't want to meet new in-laws and new grown children and their kids. I don't want. I'm happy with what I have. I've been there. I'm good with it. And then when they make that decision from that place, okay. Do I think if the right man came into her life, she might date. She might.
Right.
I don't think she's closed off to it, but that is a logical excuse for me, right? For her to say, I'm just good where I'm at.
Right.
I've got a guy friend who's young. He's our age. He travels for work and he travels a lot. And he's like, I don't want to have kids and commit to one person because it's not in the cards for me. I love what I do for a living. I love my job. Passionate for me. I'm not going to quit my job. I'm just not going to quit my job. And I travel so often, I feel like it would be a disservice to whoever I married and any children I would have. So he has his fun.
Fair.
He has fun. Fair excuse, right?
Yeah.
But he's also not out telling women,
Right.
I'm going to wife you,
Right.
or I'm going to pretend that it's going to go there.
I'm going to play husband with you and then leave you hanging.
He's
Right.
the first to be like, look, this is my life and this is my lifestyle. And also, do I feel like there is a hope for him to ever settle? Or not, I wouldn't even call it hope, but is there a possibility that he could meet someone that, what if he meets a woman who has the same kind of career
Right.
and she kind of vibes with that and they fall madly in love and they do get married?
And they make it work.
But I love the honesty and
Yes.
the transparency up front. There could be somebody for everybody, and that could be security to somebody. But you're right. When it comes to end goals, what I do notice a lot of my older friends saying, the ones that don't have children or don't want children, they worry about the end of life and what
Mhm.
that looks like for them. And I get that too, to where that becomes a fear later in life. So I think a lot of our generation is seeing later marriages, later babies,
Yeah.
and that's perfectly normal because I think people start looking at that big, you have to see the big picture, right?
I think our generation, we were like goal setters. We
Yeah.
always strive to have certain stages in our life being like we wanted to be in a certain place
Yeah.
in our 20s, in our 30s, in our 40s. That's just kind of disappeared now.
Yeah. It's weird.
It really is.
I don't want to sound like the goal needs to be children in America. I
No,
don't feel that
it
way at all.
doesn't.
I think you just need to, for yourself, look at your life and be like, where do I want to be
Right.
when I'm 80?
Yeah.
And how does that look for me? And am I good with it? Am I solid with my plan? And if you are and you're happy, just don't drag other people into your shit.
Exactly. Like for me, I'm not looking to get married next week. I
You're
don't
not?
know that I'll ever I don't know that I'll ever have kids again. I just don't know. I could maybe live without it. And I could maybe meet someone and think, oh, maybe I do. But I'm also not going to start dating someone and be like, well, we're definitely getting married. Like, we
Weird.
should definitely get married.
That's what the women's side does.
Nor am I going to date someone and be like, let's just go with the flow. I'm not going to do that either. I'm going to make my intentions known. Like, and that's the thing. I don't care what your choice is. If you say to me, look, I'll probably never get married. That's never going to be in the cards for me. I travel.
Just tell me.
I do this. This is my lifestyle. I could live with that because I understand it. There's clarity in what we're doing.
Yes.
I know that this will only ever go to this point. That I can do. What I can't do is, I just want to go with the flow and just see no. I don't want to spend 5 years of my life seeing what could happen, hoping for an outcome and not getting it. I want to know that you're either a guy that's going to commit to something at some point, or you're a guy that's like, no, that'll never be me. Give me one or the other.
And
I
let me
can
make
live
my
with how
choice.
that
Right.
looks in the
Yes.
meantime.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like you said, they take your choice away at that point.
Yes.
And
And that's the wrong.
Well, that's where the problem
And
is.
that's,
for
and
sure.
again, all of this is relative to every aspect in life.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's business, it's friendships, it's relationships, it's everything. Everything needs transparency. And when people have the hard conversations up front, it makes it a lot easier. It makes
Yes.
even with what I do for a living, I'm like, look, we're going to talk about all your scenarios. I'm going to tell you the good stuff and I'm going to tell you the shitty stuff. And you get to make a decision on where you want to land.
Yep.
But I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the truth, that's okay. But I'm not going to shield anyone in my role. And I feel like I've really been very good about that. And that's another quality I think that you can look for in people that don't lie or
Oh,
cheat.
for sure.
They
Mhm.
are very upfront. And it doesn't make them assholes or mean or hateful people.
Right.
They just aren't, they don't want to hurt you.
A hard truth is still kinder than a soft lie.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
give me the hard truth, even if it hurts me. I'd rather have that than you lie to me to make me feel good in the moment and then
Absolutely.
me suffer later.
Right. And you can't fault somebody for being honest with you.
Right.
You really can't.
No.
You can't even get mad at them. You may not like what they have to say,
Right.
but you have to respect that they were honest with you.
Yes, exactly. I would much rather you say, look, I think you're beautiful, amazing, but I definitely don't think I see a future for us. I don't think I see a future for us, but it doesn't mean I don't value you as a person. Like that I can handle.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I would prefer that every day of the week over, I don't know, you're just amazing. I could totally see myself marrying you one day just out of pure lies. to
Yeah.
get
And
what
then
you
just
want.
tell me, like, let's still have fun together. In the meantime, if you're down with it, let's still go out.
Yeah.
Because then
No,
I get to
let's
make a
do-
choice. And then it's
Yeah.
on me at that point.
Then it's on you. And you get to make that choice. But and there's nothing wrong with that. That's when I talk to Brian, like we'll have our deep little marital conversations when we're bored or we're like drinking. And I'm like, we just get into weird stuff. I've asked him, I'm like, how he tells me, actually he brought it to me. He's like, I used to tell girls that I would date all the time, we're not gonna be exclusive. And they would get so mad and hate me, and then they would still call me. And he's like, and I don't know what to do because I'd be like, but I told you the truth, and but now you're calling me and you're trying to convince me
It's
that
not
it
gonna
can
happen.
change.
Right.
And I'm telling you, and he goes, and then I was known as like an asshole and I'm like, no, then those were definitely the wrong girls. I get it if you're saying that up front. And to be totally honest, he was completely upfront with me with everything when we first started dating. So
The
I
big-
could see him being honest about that.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing with that is, here's the thing. You can be upfront with somebody, but you need to follow through.
Yeah, you gotta.
You
yeah.
can't be upfront and then act another way. So you can't say, oh, well,
Worst.
listen, I'm not looking for this. I want nothing to do with this, but then play boyfriend or
Yes,
girlfriend.
I
Right.
totally
You know what I
agree.
mean? 'Cause
Right.
once you do that, you have to know that they're anticipating that you're going to change.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so
And
you-
and that's on them, and they need to stop. Well, no, it's not if they're acting like that.
no,
for
if-
sure.
if you're-
That's
if
not
you're
their fault.
If you're playing,
it,
a role, then
yeah.
you have to.
You got to stick to it.
You got to stick to it. You
Yeah.
got to either tell them I'm not for this
Yeah.
and sever the tie
and stick to it.
and
Yeah.
stick to it.
Yes.
Stick
Or
to it.
then now at that point you could still be misleading
Yeah.
somebody for
Yeah.
sure.
Maybe that's where the loyalty went away. It's crazy because it's true. It's people don't want to be told no. That's why it's hard to say no.
Yeah.
Nobody
I've
likes to
learned.
hear the word no.
I
though.
love saying no to people now. It's
Saying
changed my
it.
life.
Do you like hearing it though?
No. But you want to know what? I respect it a lot more than I used
Right,
to.
of course.
Like I used to be the person that thought, but wait, there's more.
Right.
Now I'm just like, all right, I get it because I've learned when I say it and people do that to me, like if I'm like, hey, this is not working for me and I'm done with it. And then they try to push or persuade me, that's when my claws come out. I don't like that. I don't like that. So I've learned again, self-reflection last year,
Yeah.
Ashley's growing.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that from a million different angles and going, if I say no to somebody and they give me pushback and they try to convince me otherwise, I don't like it. I don't like to be sales. I don't like to be sold on anything. Let me say no. And if I change my mind, I'll let you know. But the answer is no. I'm going to stick to it.
Yeah.
So then I've learned how to take a no because you can't dish it without taking it, right?
Of course.
So now I look at things like, hey, she said no, he said no, this is not it for them. all right, we need to move on and let the answer be no, because that's another thing I think that leads to so many issues later on is you didn't accept my
Terms.
answer.
Yeah.
Right.
My boundary's here and you're still trying to manipulate it. Like, can you please not touch it? Like, don't touch that boundary. It's been placed
Yeah.
there.
There's a reason I have it.
Yeah.
It's like I say to my daughter, no means no, maybe means maybe, and yes means yes.
Yeah.
But they all mean what they are.
They all mean what they are.
They all mean what they are. So
And
when I
this-
say no, when I say maybe, when I say yes, yes. Like,
Yeah.
but just take what I'm saying and hear it. She doesn't. She's still learning.
I'm trying to think. There was a movie actually where somebody said that, but they made a joke about it. It was really funny. The guy was like, she didn't say no. She was like, oh, no.
We're going to analyze it. We're going to tear it apart.
Girls speak.
Girls. And it wasn't
When no
that
doesn't
way.
necessarily
I
mean
promise
no.
you, it wasn't that way. That is a twisted.
It was a comedian that did it, and he was just hilarious about it, though.
That is so funny.
All right, everybody, that's it. Thank you for joining us. As usual, please continue to give us your feedback. You know that we enjoy it. Definitely check out Ashley Travers on her IG at @AshleyTravers_. Be sure to check us out on YouTube and notfornothing.podcast and on IG at notfornothing.podcast as well, where you can check out all our short and long form content. Thank you guys. See you next week.